Hello, welcome to another edition of Chris Speaks. I'm your host, Chris Thompson. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore, and neither should you. Alright, so what do we have in the show tonight? We have, the headlines are, reporters put some fire under the ass of the press secretary. Okay, because the guy's just spewing lies, and the reporters are starting to get like feisty with them. So that's kind of cool because they're asking some real questions. Okay, the next one. This is a bombshell thing. This is something that people had been saying since October 7th, that there were and it got decried as conspiracy theory, that Israel killed some of its own people, which were strangely added to the list of people killed by Hamas, but they did it to keep them from getting kidnapped, so they won't have to do prisoner swaps with Hamas. So this is known as the Hannibal Directive, and I'll get into that a little bit more. A damning report from the Lancet, which is, I believe, a medical journal, about the casualty report, because they finally, what hasn't been done, what I was looking for a while, was something that had not just the ones that were deliberately killed by Israel, but the deaths, direct and indirect deaths that have happened, and it's fucking high. I mean, I know I need to work on the F-bombs a little bit, but what we have here is we've got something that is just terrible. The numbers are catastrophic. I'll let you know what it is later, but you have to stick around later on in the show to get that one. Okay, but it's like I don't even know what this number looks like. Okay, well, let's get started. Okay, so there was a U.S. press briefing. Sorry, got tongue-tied there. And it was mainly about Ukraine, and they were talking about this children's hospital in Ukraine that got blown up by Russia. And what I was thinking is like, okay, how is this going to be bad for Russia to do it, but not when Israel does it? But I'll get a little more into that. So at the press briefing, some of the reporters really, like I said right here, really lit a fire under the press secretary's ass. And the briefing focused on the children's hospital bombing, as I said, by Russia and Ukraine. A reporter asked why the U.S. didn't speak out when Israel bombed hospitals in Gaza. He gave the normal shit. Well, no, not Al-Qaeda, wrong guys. If Hamas blows up the hospital and we blew it up, it's okay. Yeah, because every single place that they bombed, it's all Hamas. Pfft, give me a break. It's because they consider Palestinians all to be Hamas assholes. He gave the same bullshit answers you would expect. Hamas, blah, blah, blah. We can't tell who did the damage, etc., blah, blah, blah. Another reporter asked about Israel stopping aid from entering Gaza, and had mentioned that every humanitarian, sorry, I'm messing around with something here, that every humanitarian organization had said that Israel was blocking. Okay, so the first thing he did is he cited that bullshit debunked report. It was a report that was done by the State Department, and they had all of these experts give their opinion, and the experts all said Israel was blocking it. They said, thank you for your help, and disregarded what they said and said, no, Israel, everybody else says so, but Israel, well, they didn't say that part, but Israel is not preventing aid from getting in there. I mean, even the UN is saying that Israel is using starvation as a weapon. Okay, so So this person brought that up, and then he answered. Like I said, he cited the stupid report, and the woman wanted to reply to that, and he wouldn't. He went to the next person because she was probably going to bring up what I would bring up is like, oh, you mean the falsified report that was a reason why one of the experts who was under Biden for this job resigned, because she just saw no point in having the job she was in if no one was going to listen to her. Okay, it's just crazy. So, okay, so the next one. Okay, so the damning report by the Haaretz newspaper. It's an English language newspaper in Israel, and it tends to be a little bit more on the liberal side, which for Israel that's not much. So they printed a report that said that the IDF had enacted the Hannibal Directive on October 7th. Well, I explained it a little bit before, but the Hannibal Directive means Israel kills people to keep them from being taken as prisoners, so they don't have to do a prisoner swap. Okay, so this Hannibal Directive was used, and okay, so I basically said it all. It was used, but they were like, Israel was denying it. People were claiming people were conspiracy theories. There was another anti-Semitism thing throwing out there, like, how dare you think that they would do that to their own people, blah, blah, blah. There were even, if any of you are on X, anytime someone would report something that was about Israel killing some of their own people, and then doing it on purpose, there were all these like community notes to debunk it, but guess what? It looks like the community notes are debunked. I mean, serious. Like any claim that they did this, it was just no. You're a conspiracy theorist. Stop being anti-Semitic. Blah 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 blah. Well, it wasn't like stupid to think this, because this is something, the Hannibal Directive is something they used to use, but they stopped using it, but I guess they're using it now. So lovely country that would murder their own citizens so they don't have to do a prisoner swap and swap with prisoners, which are basically hostages that Israel's taken for no damn reason, to torture and do horrible things to and rape people and stuff. Yeah, they're trying to claim people are doing rapes and stuff, which is like totally there's no evidence towards that. At least, like, there's none. There's some people that made some claims and whatever, but Israel didn't even look into it. They haven't investigated it because they know it's bullshit, because no one's came in and said they were raped and all that. But anyways, so there's all that BS, and now this happened when they were saying it wasn't. I'm getting to the point, I don't even believe a goddamn word that country says. You can't believe anything they say. It's just like, you really think that every place they blew up, which is pretty much all of Gaza, all was Hamas, was the 1-year-old Hamas, the baby Hamas, was the dog Hamas, was the horse that got blown up when people were trying to get out of the city because they were still being attacked by the IDF. Was it Hamas? I mean, pretty much anything that disagrees with Israel is Hamas, and I'm tired of it, and I'm tired of these lies by their government, our news. Like, you actually have to do some research, which is not too hard. Just go to YouTube and go on a lot of stuff you'll find on X, and I mean, there's been a lot of just film footage of just people with their phones filming what's going on from in Gaza, and you can't lie about this stuff anymore. I mean, obviously they could for that because no one was filming them do their own thing, but kill their own people. But I mean, it's just, you just gotta like, and even then, I've heard, I'm not sure, it does seem like it's harder to find certain information on Google or YouTube when it comes to this whatever you want to call it, war. It's not a war, man. Wars are something that happens when there's two armed militaries that fight each other, not one that is a bunch of cowards that drops bombs on little kids and old people and women. Cowards. And those cowards use bombs that are manufactured by the U.S. that your taxpayer money pays for to go drop on little kids. And oh yeah, and guess what? Your politicians can go sign them and tell them to finish them all. Looking at you, Nikki Haley, I think that's her name. Bitch went over to freaking Israel to sign her evil ass name on a bomb to drop on little children. Your taxpayer money is at work. Like, god damn, man, we just need to hold all of our politicians in contempt, and we need to hold the Supreme Court in contempt. Man, this is the court of the people. We need to start laying down the law here, man. They work for us. They're supposed to work for us, so they need to start working for us. Stop lying to us. Stop making the media lie to us. I mean, those reporters that were there, heck, if I never see any of their stuff, are they? They must not be. They must not be mainstream media. That's for sure. At least not mainstream American media. Like, because it's nothing but lies and misleading. And like, if you see the news reports on like some of these protests that they're saying are anti-Semitic, and then you actually go look at the footage, because you can see, especially there's several things I've found. There's probably more of these protests, these pro-Palestinian protests. And when you actually look at what it is, okay, there's a few idiots here sometimes with the Hamas flag or something, or somebody says something horrible, but nothing ever, the word Jew never comes up. Nothing ever really saying anything about Jewish people, just the ones who just about Israel and the people who are supporting what Israel is doing. I have no problem with Jewish people. Be as Jewish as you want to, but don't kill people and steal their land. It's just like it wasn't an an anti-European thing to tell the Europeans to, hey, stop killing the Indians and stealing their land. No, it wasn't. It was about, like, actually nobody did that. Nobody cared, and look what happened. I mean, this is the thing. We have information out there. We have the internet. This is a genocide. You can see the genocide being it's live streamed. And guess what else is? The protests are being live streamed. So go on YouTube and go get this information. And you'll get a lot more, and go on X and start talking to people about the same stuff. It'll bring up some information. You got to remember, on social media, you might want to fact check it a little bit, because you do get some stuff in there, some crazy stuff, and then there's some stuff that sounds right. And well, like even with this thing about the Hannibal directive thing, I saw it a few times, and I hadn't really done enough research to really talk about that. I may have said a little bit, and even said that I don't know if this is for fact. So now we know it's a fact. So I guess everybody owes an apology to the people that they called crazy and conspiracy theorists and whatnot, because it turns out it was true. Okay, so the next one, this is really, man, this is bad. I only have a little bit of notes here. Okay, so the Lancet, they're this, I don't know much about it. I know that they're a medical journal, and they basically compiled information, and basically they did an estimate on the direct and indirect death toll in the Gaza war, and this is an estimate, and they're assuming eventually, like if this war ever ends, eventually it's going to be a lot more than what they've gotten here, because there's people under the rubble, there's all this stuff, and plus all you've been getting before, we've only been getting the ones that were directly killed by Israel. And I was wondering about all the other people, like starvation by lack of medicine and all this stuff. So far, the estimate by Lancet is that the IDF has killed around 186,000 Palestinians. How can you kill that many Palestinians and you still haven't got Hamas? You're not doing your war very well, because if you were actually going after Hamas, maybe you shouldn't have wasted all your artillery on civilians. I mean, this is bullshit. I mean, they're killing this many people, and you can't say anything. You can't say anything, because if you say anything, you're anti-Semitic, and that's bullshit. You guys, not you guys, but well, the system, the media, man, they just want to shut down the conversation. Remember when the conservatives, when like people would like not want Netanyahu to speak at their university, or they wouldn't want some other person, and some other conservative people who were just plain assholes, and so they'd protest, and them protesting, they'd say, look, they're shouting them down, they're trying to stifle free speech. Well, looks like not only the conservatives, but the Democrats, the liberals as well, are pointing out, are saying anti-Semitic to shut down the conversation, because that's what they want to do, because they can't have the conversation, because there is no way to justify killing this many people so far. From direct and indirect means, this means the people that are starving to death because of Israel not letting food in and killing people, not letting medicine in where people die, not even letting in insulin to where these diabetics are dying. So all this stuff that's doing, it's starting to work, and it's starting to make that number go up. That number, that now it's 186,000. That's 186,000 of 86,000, not 186,000, not 1,800 and whatever, 60 whatever, no, 186,000. How many people is that, man? That's like a freaking like one of those, like the biggest soccer stadiums in the freaking world type thing, where it's just like a fucking ocean of people. Think about that. That's a lot of people. Like, I'm not even sure if that's even enough. It's like, I can't even imagine that amount of people. And these are people that died in just like less than a year. I mean, this is crazy, and it's sad that we can't even be compassionate for our fellow man, because our government is aligned with Israel, and our government is using our money to arm Israel. But you can't say don't arm Israel, they're killing people, or you're gonna have the accusation of anti-Semitic thrown at you. But don't be scared, don't listen to them, it's not true. I mean, this is not about, I've said before in another video I did, this is not about Israel and Palestine. This is not about Jews and Muslims or whatever. This is about people. This is about right and wrong. This is about following the law. I mean, there's laws set up for this. This does not mean that the U.S. and their allies get away with anything they want to do. No, we're supposed to follow it too. It's not for everybody but us. Not everybody but our buddies. No, it's everybody. And this is the thing, man. We've got to get the word out. Do some research. If you don't believe me, do the research. It's out there. Do some videos. Don't take my word for it. Maybe you'll find more stuff than I do. Maybe you'll find something that makes me go, wow. Like, I've been looking for stuff everywhere and I couldn't find it. That's the hard thing, is sometimes you don't find what you're looking for, but maybe someone eventually will. So, like, you hear these stories I'm telling you, and I guarantee you a lot of this stuff isn't getting out, even though I'm not getting, I did watch the live, the press thing, what do they call it, press conference. So I did watch part of the press conference live, so I got that there. So that is kind of journalism, but a lot of it is just me repeating what other publications and stuff had said. But it's gonna maybe I'll get to a lot of people these messages that other people didn't get, because you're not gonna get this in one place. You're not gonna get it over there in the mainstream media, man. You have to find it in independent media, sometimes foreign media, like obviously I only speak English, so it'd be anything that was in English, and there's a lot of them out there, like Al Jazeera English. And Al Jazeera is, man, those guys they're the only people that really tell the truth, because they're not held accountable to our government of, oh, you better say this or you won't get your press pass. I don't need their press pass, man. They're the best. They're good, man. I'm finding a lot of information on there, and it can be, you can find the stuff to prove that, what they're saying and stuff, but you have to do that. You have to go outside of it, because you can't trust the media anymore. And it's I used to hear people say that, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, it's all right. You just can't trust something, and then it just finds out, it's like you can't even, the only thing you're getting in the news is like the mainstream news, though they finally let them in Rafah or whatever, but they were guided by the Israelis, so they'd only see what the Israelis want them to see. Well, you can't get it from that. You have to go online where you see videos that were like, this stuff was being filmed live of things blowing up, of people dying. It's really going on, and it's real, and it's not just something just to say. This has been going on for so long. It's just gotten to the point where Israel finally got to the point where, well, we're gonna use this thing as an excuse to do what we've always wanted to do, and that's exterminate the Palestinian people, because that's what they're doing. And you don't want to hear it, then don't listen to it. That's fine. But I suggest you try to prove me wrong, because if you can prove me wrong, hey, that's good on you. Hey, let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know what I don't have right or whatever. Don't be a dick about it though. But you can prove it. But I know a lot of the stuff, at least I'm usually using pretty accurate sources. So this is real. This is true. So I have no reason to lie to you. And I got I think I just got one more follower. I had 14 followers on YouTube. Now I'm up one. And I think it's the first one I've had in years and years and years. Ooh. I'll celebrate my 15th ever subscription. Yeah, so I'm just small potatoes, man. I'm not getting paid for this. I don't have advertisements I'm doing and all that shit. So it's just me trying to get out stuff that's pent up. I'm watching stuff, I'm doing stuff, and I'm trying to do anything I can do. I don't know what a guy who's just sitting at home doing videos and posting them on YouTube is gonna do to help the Palestinian people that are being mistreated. I don't know if I could at least get through to one person. Maybe that one person will do something. Maybe that person will get something going. And we've got to be strategic about it. Okay, protests are good and all, but we've got to reach beyond that. We've got to somehow get into politics. We got to get politically going. If we start off from scratch, maybe we'll be grassroots thing. But man, and you know, we're not. Trust me, like by the time Israel's done with their operation in Gaza Strip, we still wouldn't. We still won't have gotten anything to stop our government just sending money to Israel. But I mean, eventually we get people in there and who want to change it, who are actually going to listen to the people that don't want. I mean, sure, we don't have say in what our tax money is used for, but this is wrong. This is wrong to use money and this is money that could go to better things, to good things for Americans or people in other countries, that they could use this money for other people who are hungry or something. Do something. I mean, we just don't. I mean, you do this and you take taxpayers' money, and sure, it belongs to you once it gets to you, and you're using it for you want. But I bet you there's a lot of people that if they really knew what was going on, they were really seeing the images, they were really seeing the death and the destruction, would probably be really pissed off about that. So, I mean, it might make them feel like they have blood on their hands. And trust me, man, this is the United States, and I know there's good people in every country and everything, but, you know, hey, there's jerks here, there's jerks everywhere. But I think that most Americans are good people. I think most Americans have good hearts, and probably are upset of a lot of things. I know there's a lot of people that are anti-war, and, you know, I'm not anti-war because I'm just some hippie. I mean, I am. I'm not a hippie, and I'm not just. I mean, I've been against war before that, but then I was in the military. Didn't go to war, but I had met some people that had. I was there, and I felt like I had originally gone in as a medic. So, well, I was going in as medic training, so I felt like I was doing something good. But at some point, and this unfortunately, I don't like to talk about it, led to a suicide attempt when I was in the Army, because I realized that I was part of the death machine. Just because I went in as a medic, you know, I was a field medic. If I would have gone to war, I would have been out there on the front lines trying to stitch people up just enough to keep them alive to get them to the field hospitals. And dude, all I would be doing was repairing them so they could go out and kill some more. And I mean, obviously I was a pacifist before this. As far as war goes, what do they call it? I went in as I put that I was oh come on, I don't know what it is. When you're basically saying that you're going in as a soldier, but that you're against war. I don't remember what it's called, but whatever, you get the gist. So, I was against the war, and you know why I'm against war most of all? Well, I mean, I've seen movies, and I've seen actual stuff about war and stuff, you know, but my Uncle John, my mom's brother, and I loved him, I was really close to him. I think my other siblings didn't like him so much, but I loved my Uncle John, and my Uncle John was a Vietnam vet. He was a Army Ranger, and that dude was so messed up, man. He was so screwed up. I mean, he had to live in a town where fireworks were illegal, because he'd hear fireworks go off and it'd take him back. He's thinking there's artillery going off and stuff, and I mean, there is a time I didn't know anything. He was living with us when I was like 3 or 4, and nobody told me that I wasn't supposed to touch my Uncle John to wake him up. And dude, he threw me across the room, and it wasn't till he came to that he was hurting, that he did that to me. He didn't mean to, and it was explained to me that he didn't mean to, that he's sick, and that anything, when he sleeps, he's back in the war. And so, to see someone you love go through that, you know that, and this is a person that I saw is this big tough guy, and he was for a while, but he was damaged. He was dead. He was not dead inside, but he was destroyed inside. He was a broken man. So that's what started my thing of being against war. And plus, I mean, I always had a big heart. I didn't think people should be killing each other, especially when it's always over crap that has nothing to do with them. It's governments wanting to do this, and their government wants to do that. It's usually because one country wants to steal another country's stuff. Like in the case of the Middle East, it's all about oil, and that was the whole point of having Israel there, to have automatic security for like what do they call them? Come on, oil, not mines, oil wells, protections for the oil wells. Back when the British had come down here, and that was the whole point of the British British mandate. Yeah. Okay. So, like I say, it's always about stuff like that. It's about a lot of different things. Sometimes it's stupid and it's over religion, and then sometimes it's stupid and it's over political religion, because religion is a politics in a way, because no matter which side you listen to, if you just believe the politicians, what they tell you, well, you're in a cult. And I'm not just talking about the Trump people, I'm talking about both sides. If you say you are given evidence to something and you just refute it because you believe what the politicians are telling you, and not what the Joe Blow who lives in the apartment on the corner or something like that. You know, the only people we can really trust is other people like us. Independent journalists, they're hardworking, so they're working class. You know, the working class people are usually the ones out looking for everyone else. A lot of reporters, there's reporters that they go to these big schools to be journalists and stuff like that. And it becomes a thing about just being about money. So, and money is important. You gotta live, you gotta eat, you gotta have a roof over your head. Everybody needs that stuff. And so people who are harder working, the little guy always looks out for the little guy. Because you ever notice, like, I haven't done it in a while, I try to give money to the homeless sometimes, and you know who it always is? It's always the working, the average Joe, the worker out there. They give them money. It's always the rich people that don't know what it's like to be without, that are always like, hey, there's homeless people that are trying to get me to give them money. Well, you don't have to give them money. And you don't have to be assholes to them either. I mean, hell, even the richest person could do something, have a bad investment, or trust the wrong person to do their taxes and be screwed over and be in the same situation and be on the streets. So, we all got to look out for one another. So, I know I'm going a little long on this video. That's been my thing lately, is I just blabber on and on and on. Chris, just shut the fuck up. Alright, man. So this has been another episode of Chris Speaks. I'm your host, Christopher Thompson. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. And you shouldn't either. Alright, see you guys in a bit. Hope I'm not being too loud.